Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the MetaNerd channel. I am Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard Overdress. We are now officially entering the DBT02 support videos. I know I did cover for Dark States when I was back from injury, so after finishing all of the decks post-festival, I am now able to continue onwards to BT02. And for this video, as you guessed it, we're gonna go through the Zorga support in DBT02. Now, I will not be going through the mechanic once again like I did in the past videos because I think by now you should know and have a basic idea on how Zorga runs. With that out of the way, let's start with the support cards that we have for Zorga. Now, before really moving into the Zorga support cards, I want to get this off so that I don't have to include this card in every single video for DBT02. In DBT02, each and every nation will get a new front trigger, which will get a 5k shield if you use it to guard and if your opponent is a grade 3 or greater. This will actually increase the defense creep for each and every deck that exists right now at the moment, and it's really a good card to have. This basically forces me to play fronts in Bruce deck. Alright, so first off we have Roaring Pistil, Langina, Continuous Guardian Circle. If you have a total of 3 or more order cards in your drop and bind zone, this unit gets 5k shield. Okay, so basically a defense support for Zorga. You need to have a total of 3 or more order cards in your drop zone as well as your bind zone to get the 5k shield, which means that this card will not activate her skill until maybe your grade 3 turn, or possible in the grade 2 turn if you do mill a lot and you do mill all the orders into the drop zone, which is kind of good and bad at the same time. Her skill also works when she intercepts. This is quite a nice card to have in your Zorga deck if you have space, but not necessarily the needed one. Next is a new order card. Surprise, surprise, surprise. We have a grade 1 order, Overcoming the Natural Death. You need to pay 1 counterblast in order to play this card. You first bind this card and you choose up to 2 order cards from your drop zone and put them into your hand. This is basically your utility support where you can get any order, including Blitz, Whirl if Zorga does play Whirl, and normal order cards from your drop zone. However, I only see this card playable in the early to mid game because I don't think you want to use this card in the late game. Do you want to play this card or a potentially a superior calling order or maybe a power up order in the mid to late game? No, right? I don't think you will want to activate this card in the late game. Next, we have Fairy of Blighted Love. Auto Rearguard Circle. When the attack this unit boosted hits a Vanguard, bind this unit. Choose an order card from your bind zone and put it into your hand. So yeah, another utility support which you could exchange herself for an order card that was bind using Alchemagic into the bind zone and allows you to reuse if you really need that order card. It's kind of a nice way to actually recycle your order cards. Once again, nice card to have, but not necessarily the needed one. Moving on, we have a shark. Zombie Shark. Fleet Eater. Auto Rearguard Circle. When this unit attacks, if you Alchemagic an order this turn, Soul Blast 1. Until the end of that battle, this unit gets 5k power. And when your opponent would call cards from their hand to Guardian Circle, they must call 2 or more at the same time. So yeah, an offensive support Shark. And why does Shark symbolizes an attacker? I have no idea. This Shark basically forces an even number of cards when guarding from the hand. So for example, your opponent is recruit at least 2 cards from the hand to guard, no matter how small of a power this shark has. For example, this card, if this shark will attack for 15k, and if you do use his skill, your opponent still has to throw 2 cards, even though it's just a 5k shield. It's going to be very devastating and potentially get away with a lot of hand losses for your opponent. But the downside to this card is that his skill will only activate when you reach a grade 3, which is your Zorga, and if you Alchemagic. So if you do not Alchemagic, the shark is basically a vanilla without any skills. This unit will be the primary unit for you to pump power as much as possible. So Zorga is known to have a beefy attacking columns, so even if you're gonna use the order card where you give 3 units, I would suggest giving this the 10k power as well as the booster at the back, the 10k power, which will make this card hit for 48k if you put a 13k booster at the back. The Soul Blast seems kind of off because soul resources might be an issue if you keep on using his skill. Hendrina only negates the cost for Alchemagic, so you will still need to pay the Soul Blast for this card. Next up, I wanted to include this order card, although this card is practically main towards Magnolia. Wall Intelligence. Play this with cost Counterblast 1. Discard 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 card with the same grade as your Vanguard or lower from your drop and call it to rearguard. If your Vanguard is Magnolia, choose up to 2 cards instead of 1. So I wanted to put this card here is because this card with the cost of 1 Counterblast, you're able to set up the drop zone, and plus you're able to call something up from the drop zone from those things. I mean, in the early game, you are able to set up. I mean, when I say set up, it might go to a very bad position. You might discard 3 triggers, you might discard something else, or you might just get 3 normal units and not get the same grade as your Vanguard. So I mean, even so, this card is potentially a very nice optional way for you to set up the drop zone in the early game, since this is grade 0 and the only other drop zone setup you have is either Hendrina or the grade 3 order. So this card is actually very nice to have as a 1 or 2 piece in Zorga deck. However, as you proceed to the mid to late game, this card tends to fall out quite a bit. The call 1 from the drop zone is actually very nice for some early aggression if you do mill into the cards that is the same grade as your Vanguard. Overall, this card, you as a Zorga player could consider this card to be in your deck because it's actually very nice. Next, of course, we have another double R for the order card. Regurgitation from the Underworld. You need to pay Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1 to play this card. You choose one of any player's rearguard, so meaning either yourself or your opponent. You retire it, choose up to 1 card with the same grade as that card from your drop zone and call it to the rearguard. If you're Alchemagic, you may choose up to 2 instead of 1 to call. This card is very good as a utility support. It provides some form of control for Zorga. I mean, when I say control, it actually means field control. You're able to kind of retire something from either field, either your own or your opponent, depending on the situation and the board. You're potentially able to remove something that is of value for your opponent to basically power up your board, which is very nice. And it is an excellent superior calling card because you're able to 2-box whatever is in your drop zone based on the grade. Something to note about this card is that this order card is actually very flexible in whichever scenario. Because you're able to choose either your own or your rearguard, you could call something out and basically just retire the newly called rearguard and call 2 more new ones. So you don't really have to rely on your opponent's board 100% because even your own board is also able to kind of dictate how you're gonna superior call your board and how powerful your board is gonna be. Very nice card and must have for Zorga deck. Lastly, the triple R for Zorga, Rogue Headhunter. Yeah, a very skinny executioner type card. Continuous rearguard. If you play an order this turn, this unit gets 5k power. So basically a 13k. A slightly better than Rancor Chain because Rancor Chain is only at 10k. This will be at 13k, which will hit a magic number when you boost a grade 2, potentially the Shard. His other skill is that although when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, the next turn you would Alchemagic an order and play it this turn. Reduce that cost by Counterblast 1. Reduce from the total cost. Does not countercharge even it becomes negative. Now, utility support. This is godly for Zorga because of the whole Counterblast usage. Because after DBT01, Zorga tends to eat up a lot of counterblasts. So this card, by relieving one of those counterblasts, it actually helps the deck a lot. And do remember, the second skill of this card is actually stackable. If you're able to call 2 Headhunter to the field, you're able to basically negate 2 counterblasts from your Alchemagic order card. It's a pity that it does not countercharge. But then if it does countercharge, yeah, it might be a problem. Anyways, this card definitely a must-have. It's so good and it's just good. It's really good. Okay, next I'm gonna go through the Alchemagic that you might want to run in this deck. So far we have 6 of them. So first we have Spiritual Condensation. This card is easy to use. You're able to just call something out and plus 5k, which is not bad. The grade 1 order card, I don't really recommend you running this card, but then an option is an option. You're able to run this card if should you find yourself discarding too many order cards in the early game or the late game. But then the problem comes is, do you want to use this card in the mid game or late? Grief, Despair, and something. This one is still a must run because the main power boosting order card in the whole deck, and you will always want this card to be in the drop zone for your Alchemagic to bind, because the way of how Alchemagic works is that you will need to resolve the order that was being called, that was being played from your hand. Only then you move forward to the order that was bind using Alchemagic. So of course you will want to call everything out. Only then you decide which unit is getting that 10k power. So yeah, this card, it's still a stapler card, however, and unless of course Bushiroad decided to slightly power creep this card, I don't think this card will ever go away. Next is the old Soul Blast 2 to check top 4 to Superior Call. This card I would see lesser play now because of the new grade 3 that we have. The problem with this order card is that you're basically playing with RNG, and if you do top deck check into all triggers, it's gonna suck real bad. So yeah, I mean, this card is most probably gonna be out in replace of the new grade 3. And of course the other two is the new order cards. The new grade 3 order card you will really want to play because it helps recycle some of your either dead units or basically retire something very important from your opponent in order to call 2, in order to basically power up your board by calling 2 more onto your field. While intelligence, like I said when I talked about this card, is that you're able to set up early. However, you will not really want to run this card in the late game ever. Of course, I do put out Headhunter and as well as Handrina just to let you know that these 2 cards are the only cards in the whole deck that actually helps you relieve the cost for some of the Alchemagic orders that you will be running. As you can see, the Soul Blast will never be an issue because Handrina negates all Soul Blast cost from Alchemagic. So just by proccing one Handrina, it's enough for you to have enough soul to go through your Alchemagic orders. Next, we also see a lot of like Counterblast 1 from 4 different order cards. So the way how this works is at the bare minimum you are only needed to pay 1 Counterblast for the whole order turn if you do decided to use the new grade 3 order as well as the power up grade 3 order. Because it's a Counterblast 2 and Soul Blast 1, since Handrina will be able to negate your Soul Blast and hit by calling 1 Headhunter either via your hand or Zorga, you will only need to pay 1 Counterblast. However, if you do decided to call Headhunter by using Zorga, you will still need to use 1 Counterblast. So you do need to be smart about how you're spending your resources. And that is all for this video. Do let me know down in the comment section of what do you think of the new support for Zorga. Which card is your favorite out of all of these support cards? Do you think he will move up the tier list or will he stay the same? Like and subscribe if you like this video, and remember to ring the bell notification icon so that you don't miss any of my uploads. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.